I'm out here in my little courtyard garden with my apple trees, and I thought I'd touch base on codling moth. Have a look at all the bees. Have a look at them. They're everywhere. They're doing their job. And you know how I say to you, don't cover your trees with netting, whether it's insect or bird netting yet, until the flowers finish. This is exactly the reason why. These little ladies are busy grabbing the pollen from all the flowers so we can get some beautiful fruit, and they in return are pollinating our flowers, because we've got, this is a sundown if I'm not mistaken, I keep forgetting the variety that is. That's a Granny Smith, and that little one over there is something like a Fuji, but they are all completely covered in flowers and full of bees at the same time. So as soon as the flowers finish, yes, you can cover your tree to protect it from birds, from pests as well. Now today's topic on pest is codling moth, and if you have an apple or a pear tree, chances are your tree is getting infected more so than not by the grub itself. Now what it does is it actually bores into the side of the apple, and it's not like you get lots of caterpillars on the one apple. It's as if they're territorial. You get one caterpillar per apple, and if you've got a lot of apples, pretty much 80, or if not most of them, if not all of them, will be infected. And then you can cut it out. There's no harm in that. What I find is that with apple trees, apples that are infected by codling moth, there's no reason to throw it out unless it starts to rot, and that means you've left it on a tree for too long. But you can cut that part out, and it's quite safe to eat the rest of the apple. But why have to go through that extent when there are simple tips and ways of controlling it? So today I'm going to share with you 4 tips in controlling codling moth. Now, the last one of all is the netting. You can see I've got the frame up already. Many of you see me build this already. We're going to cover this once the flowers are finished set fruit, and we're going to tie it down and peg it down. So that's a later episode to happen. But in the meantime, codling moth becomes active as the sun comes out and the weather temperature starts to rise, or the temperature in the weather starts to rise. It has many cycles through its lifespan, meaning through the whole season of codling moth, you'll find different cycles of the insect working its way through your tree. You'll find it in adult form as well as laying eggs and larvae, which means they pupate in the soil during the winter time. They hibernate in the soil. Now, I've had my chooks in here. You can see the bark. It's all been turned over. Here you can see that they've been scratching around, and hopefully they got most of them, if not all of them, out of the ground. But I'm not just going to rely on the chooks to do their job to try and get out all the eggs and the caterpillars or the grubs out of the ground. Because what they do, as soon as they hatch and the season warms up and the soil temperature warms up, they crawl up the tree. So the first step in protection is tree guard. So we're going to apply some of this around the base of the tree with a bit of masking tape. Now, it's a sticky substance that you apply on the trunk of your tree, but first it's important to put a bit of masking tape, because you don't want to apply directly on the bark. And it creates a band, a shield basically, or a barrier to stop any crawling insects from getting up to the tree. You can put it up higher, just below the branch line, but my branches are so low, I might have to cut these ones that are too low to the ground there. But you know, for trees that are standing taller, just a band of masking tape like that, and then apply it with a spatula if you like. So it's a sticky substance like that. It's designed so it doesn't run in the heat of the day. But all you need to do is a very light coat all the way around. So whether ants, earwigs, caterpillars, snails, or any other type of crawling grub wants to venture up to your tree to explore, it's greeted by this tree guard paste, and if they crawl onto it, that's where they stay, and your tree stays safe. So that's the first step in prevention and protection. That'll last for about 2 to 3 months, folks. So just discard the tape with the sticky substance of it, the tree guard stuff on it, throw it away, and then apply another one, because you've got at least 6 months of growing time, or up to 6 months of fruiting and ripening time, so you don't want to leave it vulnerable at any stage through its growing and ripening stages. So that's the first and foremost thing that you need to do as far as protection. The second one is a codling moth trap. Now, I've had this up from last year, and I've taken out the sticky card inside. So you keep the house, you can get replacement sticky cards and lures. Now I'm going to replace that one with a new sticky card and lure. So just peel, I think these are double-sided. No, they're not. It's a one side, thank God for that. Because if it was double-sided, I'd want to use it both ways and it'd be almost impossible. Yep, that's very sticky. See that? It's stuck. Now, don't be... Bees can lose their way sometimes, but this is designed not to attract the bee. Now, the sticky obviously will catch, the sticky card will catch anything that lands on it, even leaves and dust. So, and it's not a yellow colour, so it's not an attractant to the bees in any way or shape. So it shouldn't lure the bees at all, and I haven't... Well, let me show you the old one, just so you know. What did I do with it? It's over there. Give me a second. Have a look at that. There's just leaves and dust on it because we had some high winds, and the lure itself has been taken away because that's an old card. So no bees, that's the most important part here. So don't feel too concerned or worried about it. It's not designed to attract any sort of bees. Now I've installed the sticky card. I'm just going to put the lure in there as well. So you get one of these as a replacement, or you can buy the whole kit as well. So they're both available as a replacement kit or a completely new kit on our website, vasilisgarden.com. Just drop that in. Hopefully it falls out. Let me get it out. I don't like handling it. If you're worried about, you know, chemicals and things like that, folks, as you should be, put some gloves on, and that way it feels safe. That's it. The lure's in there, stuck to the card. See that? Just fold up the side, just like that, and that's there in the middle of the tree. So that should attract the codling moth. Now, the codling moth itself, it's sort of a browny grey little moth. It stands about between 12 and 18 millimetres in size when it's got its full width wingspan open. Its smaller size when it's resting, it's about 10 millimetres in length. So when it comes to putting a netting on, your typical traditional bird netting as such, which is designed only for birds, the old one in other states of Australia, if you're watching us, the 15mm bird netting itself is not good enough to control the codling moth because it is a smaller moth than the 15mm opening. Well, it averages up to 18, but it would be easy enough for it to get through those holes, the netting holes, and get into the apple tree and attack it and leave its eggs all over it. So if you're going to put the netting on when the time comes, you can get the 4.9mm, which is the wildlife friendly bird netting, or the insect netting. Both of those are available on our website to drape it over. But remember, again, do not do it whilst it's in flower. Wait till the flower's finished and then cover the tree as the added protection. So first one was the tree guard. We mentioned that. That's this sticky stuff here. Masking tape around the base of the tree, then apply with a stick like that, like an ice cream stick or these bamboo sticks that we have. Second to that is put the codling moth trap, because you'll find some moths will be flying around and they'll come to here as an attractant, and hopefully you catch them all before they attack your tree. So you've got the caterpillar grubs crawling up the tree under control, you've got the ones flying in there. You can't install the netting, you can only install the netting after the flowers have set fruit to cover it, but also from my previous experiences and trials, our CGWS spray, that's our Citrus Guard White Spray or Citrus Gall Wasp spray, which is specifically designed initially to control gall wasp on citrus trees. We found it to work tremendously well on codling moth and parent cherry slug as well. So those two pests as a shield of armour. So you can apply that on your apple tree once the flowers have finished and the fruit has set and it's the size of a pea. Once it's about that big, you can start applying it all over the tree. You'll only have to do it 2 or 3 times through the whole growing season as a shield of armour with the netting on top and the codling moth trap and the paste around the base. And if you've got chooks, that's your 5th defense mechanism. So if you've got those 5 things happening in your garden, you're pretty much safe and almost guaranteed to get a clean codling moth free or grub free apples from your trees, and pears and even cherries too, from parent cherry slugs, those ones there, folks. So check it out on our website, vasilisgarden.com. We've got all these as a pack going on, codling moth trap packs available on our website to protect your trees. Don't wait for it to set fruit because it's too late by then. Check it all out, vasilisgarden.com. From me, Vasili, Maresi.